He saw this python in one of the waterways and jumped on top of it, wrestled it. Unfortunately, then the animals are always destroyed. My name is Gekoski, and I'm an environmental photojournalist and filmmaker. This photo here was taken at a place called Safari World. Wildlife tourism is a $250 billion per year industry. I went to Thailand, which is known as the epicenter of the wildlife tourism industry. When you visit orangutans in captivity, when you look at them and you see behind their eyes, a lot of them, they're just gone. There's nothing there anymore. This photograph shows this very noble, ancient animal with this very human expression on its face, and it sits there with her foot primed on the ring, ready to perform. And it's this kind of look of resignation on her face. It's kind of like, how did my life come to be like this? The way that they train orangutans to perform is using these incredibly cruel techniques. They're often fed the wrong diet. They might be housed with other orangutans, despite the fact that they're solitary in nature. Others are found lying on the floor. Orangutans are arboreal. They never encounter the floor in the wild. The behaviors that you see these orangutans exhibit in wildlife tourism attractions are as unnatural as you get. This particular image was taken when I was making a documentary about pythons and the exotic pet trade. So you may ask, how did Burmese pythons end up in the Everglades? People who were keeping Burmese pythons as pets simply lost interest, or the animals became too big to handle. And what we have seen over recent years is that the Everglades has now become overrun with these animals, and they have no natural predators. They have wiped out pretty much all small mammal species. They even predate on the alligators there. So in order to combat this problem, the authorities have started incentivizing people to go out there and hunt the pythons. And as part of the documentary, we went and we filmed a guy called Dusty Crumb. Dusty was brought up in the Everglades. He's a very thoughtful, very intelligent guy who cares deeply about the ecosystem here in the Everglades. And he saw this python in one of the waterways and jumped on top of it, wrestled it. I also kind of got down to the edge of the water with him, managed to get down to eye level and snap this quite fortuitous shot. This project about pythons and the exotic pet trade lasted a year or two. These stories always go on a lot longer than you think. It takes you in different directions to different countries, meeting different people. And that's what I find so fascinating about these stories. This photo was looking at the recent craze in otters that are being kept as exotic pets around Southeast Asia, particularly in Japan. We were going to film in this apartment block in Tokyo. This lady who has these two very famous pet otters. I think they have like 300,000 fans on Instagram. So we get to this apartment block and all we hear is this wall of noise, this screeching that greets us as we go and knock on her door. And this very tired, resigned Japanese lady lets us in. We just see these tiny little hands that are scurrying under the door and this stench. She opens the door and these two little crazy Tasmanian devils just then go on to wreak havoc. They're climbing on the furniture. This was a very lucky photograph. I saw the otter running along the windowsill, and there's her 2 or 3 year old daughter who's looking out to the cityscape behind. It's almost like a scene from a horror movie. You have this kind of ghostly figure of the daughter looking out behind, then you have the silhouette of the otter running along the windowsill. It's a very sinister, suggestive image. We've also seen a craze over recent years where otters are being used in cafes. And again, it's social media that is fueling a lot of these crazes. Otters are being plucked from the wild. The parents are killed in order to get the babies. They're then smuggled into the exotic pet market. And now otters are being sold for up to $12,000 each. Every year in Cambodia, around 3 million dogs are killed for the dog meat trade. They're rounded up from the streets. They are then stuffed into cages with other dogs, transported around the country. And then they're taken to the slaughterhouses where they are killed in these drowning pits. This was a very, very difficult story to work on. This particular image was taken at a restaurant outside of Phnom Penh, and it shows this dog lying what seems to be peacefully in a bucket of blood. And I think what makes it so powerful is that it kind of hints at this brutality without throwing it in your face. You have to be very careful in this line of work that you don't really repel people with your imagery, and you don't create shots that are simply so disturbing or so grotesque that people will look away. This particular project was a real success. The story went viral on social media, and then it kind of shamed the government into acting. And now in the province of Siem Reap, the dog meat trade has been made illegal. I'm not saying that that's just because of my work. My work was a contributing factor. It's mainly down to the tireless campaigning of Four Paws that this happened. A lot of the people who are killing dogs there, they're not doing it because they want to or because they enjoy it. They're just simply trying to feed their families. A lot of the planet lives off less than $2 a day, and we have a lot of hungry, desperate people who are doing what they can to just try and survive. We're in the midst of a 6th mass extinction event, and all over the world animals are being consumed, traded, humiliated, and we have the opportunity to do something about it. And as photographers, we can document the truth and we can show people what is happening.